Now,
welcome to the shed.
the rest of the
I've been
story.
working on this guy, trying to get it ready for planting. Had gone through and I had 2 power lines that I had to run from back in the cab down through all this mess, back down in through here, which, pardon the low lighting. And these 2 wires, these are part of the power lines. I'm actually going to take these and coil them up and secure them back in here. Just that excess wire, I mean, I want to make sure it stays back away from the exhaust here, but I might just drop it down into here. We're mounting the auto steer kit unit well, it's sitting over on the 82. It actually mounts in down here, so we'll have some place to go with it, versus originally we thought it was going to go along the frame here. But in the cab, I've been trying to make it look as pretty as possible, and you can only do so much, especially with what you have to work with. All I got to work with right now is actually my cell phone light. But what I'm doing is trying to get this whole mess of wires for running the ag leader unit and running the planter. I wanted to actually try to get it snuck up underneath, out of the way, you know, out of sight, out of mind, for this piece of upholstery that'll be here. I don't have it. Dad just took it. Dad and Ryan actually just took it down to see if they couldn't get it renewed versus buying a brand new one. And well, a new one is like $600, so it's not, you know, it's worth trying to find someplace else that I can get it fixed. I got the hole down through the floor. There's a plate there that I took off again, cleaned that up, made it bigger because now we have 3 wires going down through it versus the original 1, and I'm going to have 2 more that are going to be coming up through there up into the cab to something for, gosh, I'm not sure. The auto steer unit, I told there's something that it mounts in the cab. I don't honestly know yet, so until we get it, I can't really talk about that too much, but it's going to be a lot cleaner than what the 4640 is, because we won't have the steering on-track controller around the steering wheel anymore. It'll be controlled hydraulically off the front end. I pull out one of these plastic covers here. We have the switch coming where I can just push the switch and the auto track will engage. Very much similar to how it works in the 8235R. But I'm trying to, let's see here, trying to find a way to get all these wires up from, you know, the down below, out of the way, up to where they can actually go out the back of the tractor and then up to the monitor, because I know the light's probably blinding you. I apologize for that. This is where, well, this whole rail here is where the monitor is going to be. And the way I have it set up is with the seat turned all the way to the right, because I always drive like that. My intentions are, my hand will be resting here, and then I want to be able to have the monitor right above where my hand will be, so I can go through and adjust or turn on off those toggle switches for the rows, because I still do that manually from time to time. Oh, actually I do it quite a bit, even with the row shutoffs. So that will be adjustable. This is here for now, or for forever, but I have all of the slack isn't exactly tied up down here yet. I have a bunch more, and I'm sorry if I get you sick to your stomach. A bunch more wire I can pull back. I mean, it's not the best job of wrapping some of these wires up. Some of these are actually original from the tractor, and I'm just trying to make use of the available space that's already there. But the way I got it figured out is that should be tucked up under there enough where that upholstery will come down and cover it. I'm not sure where this guy is supposed to be. From what I'm gathering, I can actually see a line on the floor, actually just out right about here. So I'm hoping that's actually going to come out and up and give me enough room. I don't have to get too overly violent with trying to get that up out of the way, because my 100% intentions are to leave this wiring harness in forever. This is day and a half of trying to get the wires done on this, and I haven't even begun to go through and do any of the stuff to the planter yet. Doesn't need much, but it needs attention. And you know, they're calling for like 60s and warm weather, and we got manure to haul, fences to check, oats to get in the ground. Got to go through and drop the oil out of the 82, get the VT out here, work on that, do some chisel plowing, and then maybe think about, oh, we gotta get the seed delivered too. So then maybe get serious about trying to plant. But if you guys can see, move my light over here, I'm actually pulling these up through where I don't know what this is, because it's not meant for cigarettes. None of us around here smoke. I think it was just like a little parts cubby. I really do. But what I'm gonna do is, just to make it look pretty, I'm gonna cut a hole in it right through the bottom here, and that way I can put the wires up through there, and it'll at least kind of help direct the wires down a little bit more and actually make it look nicer, because we're gonna have a lot less, ideally here, once I'm done, we're gonna have a lot less clutter here to deal with. Once I'm sure, like these guys, I'm pretty sure we don't use any of these three, I can actually push these back down underneath, and I'll either electrical tape them back to themselves just so they're back out of the way and not being used, and then we'll have a low profile, the wire here, wire there, and I already got this thing is already ready to be used, so I can drop that down in, so that'll be done right. And then I don't know if we need this or not. This was for the auto guidance, I'm pretty sure, so I don't know if the new harness for the new system goes through here or not, which in turn, Andrew's coming in the next few days, and he said a few hours we'll be able to get that new kit on, but I don't want to cover or cable tie any of this stuff back up permanently until I'm sure that I don't have to go through and completely open it all back up just to hook up one cable, because that is exactly what would happen. So I'm gonna go and take care of this. And look at that, it actually worked. The view out the end of the dairy barn. I can't tell you how many hundreds, thousands of times I've looked out the end of this barn and seen this view. Not exactly the same view, I will say, because the old dairy cow pasture and the second cow pasture are back to row crop production, which is what they were, I guess, when my dad first started with them. This pasture here was actually row crop ground before they switched it over to the second cow pasture. And thus, back to row crops. So, might not be the same cows I'm used to looking out the end of this barn. I mean, beef cattle, at least we're getting some use out of the lot. But this is a pretty big part of our childhood growing up. I might actually have a calf out there I need to go tag. You see that one right at the end of the guardrail? I might have to go check. But yes, This view was actually a pretty big part of a lot of our childhoods growing up, and you know, time changes. I get that. We all get that. Bad news potentially about my calving for this year is that I'm feeling more and more confident, which it's my fault. More and more certain that I'm not going to have as many cows. If that one calves out there, I'll go check, would prove me wrong, but I'm a little concerned that Rocky didn't have a 100% average like I really would have expected out of him. And with some of the cows that I brought home this past winter, some of them, not all of them, I had what, 8? I believe it was 8 bred cows, bred heifers, first calf heifers that were bred to a red Angus bull. My very first calf of that group ultimately did not make it. I think she got stepped on, I'm pretty certain, because she just flat out wouldn't drink, to where I was actually having to tube her just to get her to drink anything. And the concern I have, granted, it's not the end of the world. I mean, live and learn. That's a lesson that I really should have learned, that I knew better, but I just didn't, you know, cross all the T's and dot all the I's, one of those deals. Rocky had a bad foot last year, 2 years ago, and I'm fairly certain that that actually came back to cause us issues, to where he isn't, every cow that came into heat didn't exactly get the attention that they needed. But I tell you what, I go out and check them here. My big tan cow was actually my first calf out of all these cows that I bought, thanks to Herschel and Myrna, how many years ago now, helped me get started. Let's go check. That's typically a good sign. What do we got? I'm hoping for a bull. Looks like a bull. Hey babe. Now this is what you get when you mix that with Rocky. She is, I guarantee you, he, what do you think? Boy or girl? Boy or girl? Boy. Awesome. Built like it too. Okay, so I know I've seen Rocky do his business. I'm just not confident that he's doing it 100%, because I should have been calving since March 10th. It is currently April 9th, and that's the first calf I've gotten out of him so far. Only thing, not bad for a first calf heifer. I'd like to see you walk a little bit. Well, I think you're okay. Come on. She dried him off. That's a big calf for a first calf heifer. That's why the new bulls I got, they are all calving ease. Rocky won't. Well, I don't think I'm worried too much about Rocky actually. Well, maybe even being around at that point. But okay, that actually eased some of the fears I've been having here in the last month. But I got approximately 30 days for a bunch more of these guys to calve. If not, my big thing that I'm trying to make sure we're doing is we're staying consistent, and that is putting the cattle in with the bulls from this date to this date, and just year in and year out, and the bulls get pulled back out. You don't leave the bulls in with them, and you know, just trying to make sure you're doing everything right that you can to your abilities. And you know, plenty of things can be out of your control. My brother's a good example with the neighbor's bull jumping in with his cattle, but I really don't have that issue, especially up here, largely because the nearest neighbor's bull is a highway away and about 3 miles. So I think these guys are good. So I'm going to keep giving you updates on the cattle, largely just because I love row crops, but it is really nice having a decent sized calf crop going forward. And she looks like she's been sucked. Give you one good last look at him, which I needed to go get a tag and a bander. But look at this. He's not even a day old and he's already got gray hairs. Welcome to the world, dude. So, hey mama. But that's, I've never actually seen a calf that come out looking like this, because he's got the gray hairs. Hey. But he's got white socks. Or maybe white shoes is the best way to say it. And he's got a white tip on his tail. And we have 70s, beautiful weather, perfect calving weather as far as that goes. And Dad is cleaning up the 82. I just greased the chisel plow. We're gonna go out and turn some dirt. Seems how it's dry enough out, we can get away with some of it. Early planting yet, I'm not willing to plant super early. Honestly, just the ground being warm is huge, and still planting on a timely date. Last week of April, I'm okay with. Having the next 2 weeks to get fences and equipment gone through and the planter finished. That planter is a touchy subject. Not like there's anything going wrong with it. It's just there is literally so much to do to it, and every time we think we're getting close to the finish line, we find more to put on. So hopefully the 79 can handle it. Dad'll love that. So once again, why you don't bring the dogs out in the pasture with you, because I don't need you trying to run me over. So I'm out here checking fence with Calvin, actually fixing fence at the moment. It has just occurred to me that I had not said this video's farmer joke. So, old rancher in Montana was contacted by the Montana Wage and Hour Department, claiming he was not paying his workers fair wages. So they sent an agent out to talk to him. The agent said, I need a list of the workers that you have and what you're giving them for weekly wages. The farmer goes, all right, well, there's the hired hand. He's getting $600 a week, free room and board. He's been with me for 3 years. Well, then there's the cook. She's been with us for 18 months. She gets $500 a week, also free room and board. Then there's the half-wit. He works 18 hours a day, does 90% of the work around here, works 7 days a week. He gets $10 a week, and I buy him a bottle of bourbon every Saturday. The agent goes, yeah, that's the guy I want to talk to. The rancher looks up and says, well, that'd be me. I thought it was funny. Isn't that right, Calvin? Heck, he even grinned. So stay tuned for next week's farmer joke. I'll talk to you later.